fundamentals, even with comp sci. Like that's what I would talk to Emil about.
I remember, you doing that. But
I'd
to be
ask him
fair,
about, like,
I have a feeling like he knows some of that. I mean, at this point, you have to.
The
But
metal oxide, what is it? Metal oxide semiconductor
you're
field.
talking about
like
hardware
transistors
stuff.
and-
Yeah, sure. But like
That doesn't really.
His-
You
his-
could know none of that and make 200 grand.
his
And
software.
you
yeah,
can know.
you definitely can. Yeah.
But what I mean is, you're going off of a feeling that I don't think you can actually measure. It's just something that.
Fair enough.
Yeah. And then what I was gonna bring up afterwards, you kind of you didn't jump the gun because I didn't tell you I was gonna bring it up, but the idea of Dr. Evil being able to pick up something from nothing has actually been proven already a couple of times over.
Chemistry.
Chemistry,
brutal, though.
law, a bunch of things, and the chemistry one was, in my opinion, the most impressive one because he really went from like nowhere.
I think it'd be harder to
where he
turn
is
something
now.
that you don't have potential in. Like I think the challenge for me
Sure,
to
but-
do this
yeah.
would be much harder than to Dr. Evil to do chemistry.
But where do
Or
you
law.
where do you measure that? Just because he had an academic background beforehand?
Academic background beforehand, and generally he was out of high school. You could tell this guy's gonna be more of an academic.
So then, wouldn't you think that would translate into comp sci as a higher
Not
potential?
necessarily. Academics has no reliance
Maybe not.
on exposure to technology and
But
potential.
comp sci is not strictly technology, right? Because
It's a lot. It's
you've
it's
mentioned,
you're
like,
you're
comp sci
putting
is a lot
comp sci.
theory.
You're putting comp sci into coding.
no,
It's not.
I'm not. I'm not even.
Because you
I'm
could be
I'm
in
talking about
comp sci and be a fucking video game
I'm talking
designer.
about the comp sci that is not coding. I'm talking about the comp sci that's like science theory, because there's a lot of
There
math,
is-
there's a lot of theory and think about comp sci's been around for like 50 years. Comp sci's been around since there were computers, since before we had coding. We're talking like with fucking like Fortran. Comp sci's been around for a very, very long time. So the theory
There
is
is some
is just academics.
There's some algorithms and stuff like databases and stuff that you could be like, oh, there's a lot of theory, and then you could obviously, if you're doing like your masters or something, there's much more theory. But as far as like, I don't know, most places you're gonna learn like hands-on applications more than anything.
Yeah.
Like the exposure to hands-on applications, and like, you know, aside from Office, I don't think anybody really. That paper was basically on what we're talking about right now. On the average basis, like I've just made the mistake in front of you guys. I thought that I was better than you initially, but it could be easily that you were better than me.
Yeah,
but
it's
what
true.
I'm saying is like what on average people know about computers is almost nothing.
Oh no, it's true.
Like
most people have very limited.
everybody thinks that they know a lot just because you have like some accounts or whatever the fuck, you post some pictures, blah, blah, blah. You know jack shit.
Yeah.
It's most people, sure, they know a
Well,
fraction.
yeah, you know recipes,
Yeah,
but
not-
you don't
Yeah.
know the fundamentals.
Like I think the more you go into it, the more you realize you don't know.
There's you ever heard of that guy named Jim Keller?
Sounds very familiar.
So, he was on that Friedman podcast. You know, the guy with the suit and tie. Anyways, he's a.
Have you linked this to me before?
I think so. Yeah,
Okay,
he's
okay.
that microchip architect. He worked
Yeah,
at AMD.
I think I remember this.
So some like Silicon Valley type titan. And I remember listening to his interview, and he's talking about the differences between understanding how to execute a recipe versus understanding the nature of the recipe itself, such that you
The nature of composing a
tweak
recipe.
it. Yeah. Imagine if somebody gave you a cooking recipe, you can complete it and make a souffle or whatever, and it's perfect. But if you ask somebody now to make adjustments, you wouldn't know where to begin unless you understood the fundamentals of. In this case, it would be like chemistry, really.
Yeah, that lies into the difference of theory,
Yeah.
theoretical
But
knowledge
most
versus
school,
applied.
you're gonna focus on what Armand's talking about here. And
Initially,
that's just efficient, right?
Yeah.
You focus on the practical
the
aspects.
application.
two things I realized, not to cut into what you're saying, but at BCIT, it was much more hands-on.
Yeah, that's
like
Yeah.
not theory-based at all.
that's the mentality of BCIT.
you
like,
just
in general.
start learning like ABCs of every
I
language.
much prefer that. It's a lot
Yeah,
easier to. No,
it's
but
not.
here's what I mean. I much prefer to start with that and then.
get into theory afterwards.
Yeah. It's
No,
just like
it's
a
not.
language.
No,
This-
of
this
course.
is-
I'll back that up too. It was the same because BCIT has that mentality across. That's part of their identity across all programs.
Because you get some
is the idea-
intuition of how it works, and
Is
then
the
it's
idea
easier.
is the idea of
later on.
of learning the applied stuff first, and then at the same time learning some theory, but not letting the theory getting in the way of maximizing your application knowledge.
So
Because the same thing apply in my program in mechanical engineering.
Yeah.
Same idea. A huge emphasis on applied knowledge, learning to work a lathe, learning how to work a mill, learning even if it's not much, learning at least trying to weld versus guys in the university that would never even get near like a MIG gun. And the idea that you learn theory alongside that, but you're
Mm.
going really heavy in the applied stuff. And then later on, if you're more interested, then yeah, sure, go ahead and take that theory and start, diving into it afterwards.
You guys assume a lot of things because I don't know about mechanical engineering or I guess preferences of how you want to start, but like in a 4-year bachelor in comp sci, because there's 3 different bachelors I think at BCIT that you could get, like the co-op bachelors or whatever. You have maybe 3 courses that are theory based the whole bachelor, but we're at SFU, you have a lot more.
Of course, that's
And you have
Yeah.
and the another thing is like one course at SFU is almost 2.5 courses of, like, let's say you're taking Java, for example. Okay, SFU, it's much more like, I guess there's a lot more to cover versus like, you go to BCIT, you get the same course in 3 courses, then you end up paying more. The idea that like what you guys are saying, like, oh yeah, this is better, that it's actually, if you look at course by course, it's you don't get that kind of thing at BCIT. That was my issue. And another thing is like, bigger companies, as far as if you want to look at like a career, you're not going to get looked at the same.
depends where you're going. Local
Depends like what you're.
BCIT carries a lot of weight locally, like a lot.
No, but big companies, they're not really local.
There are big companies that are based locally.
There are, but you don't close those doors when you go to SFU, for example.
Sure.
Right? Or if you could get into UBC, which is like insane, like I think it's like 93% or some shit. It's like I can't do that. But if you go there, it's even more. Just based on name, dude. Just based on name, you'll get an interview. And the interviews are actually like, people think like, okay, you graduate, you're done, you're gonna get a sick job. No, man. It's mostly you're studying just for that interview, realistically. And that interview is like, there's a lot of like, we could ask Emil. There's a lot of things on that interview that you'd never study.
No, I know they talk about it even now. They have to prepare when they switch jobs. They like train for
Yeah,
interviews.
Yeah, it's insane. Like people
And
hire
they've
coaches.
been working for like 6 years professionally now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is, I can understand that, because when you work for 6 years in a professional environment, I mean, you're focusing on what you're doing. Like you almost hone your focus into exactly, like you become an expert in your job essentially. Imagine over like 10 years. Imagine all the other things that you were studying that you're no longer working on. Like that's basically gone for you. So that totally makes sense. These guys have to like basically like relearn everything that they weren't looking at for the last like 10 years.
And the other thing I want to say is like, you guys prefer hands-on first and then some theory-based. Now, how I see theory-based is like, okay, you see blueprints to a house. To me, what you guys are saying is this: like, you start building the house, and then you have blueprints afterwards.
It can be overwhelming. It depends on the context, but usually I prefer hands-on. Like learning a language, I think it's way better to just immerse yourself before learning like conjugation and I suppose the theory of the language.
The other problem is like how they set it up, right?
I was
like,
gonna say
you want to set like, okay, can you handle 3 languages at the same time? Because that's how BCIT set up. You'll end up taking 7 to 9 courses every semester if you want to go full time.
Yeah,
that's
fucking brutal.
It's not that it's super insane, but what it is like you'll just get mixed up, because if you look at Ruby, if you look at any of the other ones, how to like say your name or how to print a name, it's literally almost, if you want something you understand one, you just have to take out words, and like for Ruby you put, or for Java you put I'm blanking right now, but you put something else, but you print out print ln, and then you put the brackets and you put the quotations. But it's basically the same. The applications are the same. When you're learning, though, if you're learning 3 different things at the same time, test comes, you're gonna mix all that shit up.
I can see that. I think the how it's deployed matters a lot, because in my experience, what I found, and I saw a lot of success in how they approached some things, that some course materials that at some point in time, where regardless of where you learned it, BCIT, UBC, SFU, some whatever in university, you were eventually going to have to find a way to apply it. There was just no way around it. So whether you decide to delay that and focus on theory first and then get to that later, or try and do it at the same time on some kind of split. So whether it's 50-50, 30, you figure out whatever split works best. But there are a lot of practical things in engineering that a lot of schools will skip. So, do you know, Armand, you probably know what drafting is, right?
Of course.
Okay. Do you know what drafting is?
Very superficial.
It's basically another word for technical drawings. Is
Yeah.
what it is. Manual drafting, so like by hand, is effectively gone in this day and age. Like it literally doesn't exist.
doesn't
No
exist.
one
It's all on
does.
the computer.
No one does it. Yeah. So
Doesn't make sense to do it.
you hear not anymore. You hear things like AutoCAD, SolidWorks, all these programs that are essentially a computerized way of doing that.
Yeah.
Even though those programs exist, and theoretically, yes, you could have no basis in engineering and just download SolidWorks. Like there's free versions of these programs out there that you could just download tomorrow. Like you could tomorrow just go in autodesk.com, say you're a student, and then get these programs for free and just find some YouTube tutorials, and sure, you'll learn something.
Mm-hmm.
But the idea of a school doing all the theory and never getting their students to try any applied examples of this technical skill that at one point in time used to be literally hands-on, and then just telling your students, you're going to do 1 week of this, and then we're going to get back to the books, and then you guys will figure it out when you get to your jobs, in my opinion, is a bit ridiculous. That's what UBC does. UBC, when on for their first and second years, when they do a lot of their hands-on technical material, so we're talking like drafting, there'll be some like shop classes, like some welding. I think they have like a water cutter, some 3D printing. They have all these things. They do all that applied hands-on stuff in a month. So it's like a week for each subject, which is honestly nothing. I found a lot of success in how BCIT still made their students at times overwork, yes, but they would push their students to really put some focus on the manual aspect of some of these technical skills while doing classroom theory. So you know we would discuss, or we would learn about what certain, like what is a tolerance, what does that mean, what is a a machining symbol, what does this mean, what does that mean? That's the theory, right? And then actually going into a drafting class later on that week and being like, all right, now we're not going to get you guys to do any complex whatevers, but at least fucking know how to like draw a title block, how to fucking draw some like basic things, so that when you get out into the workspace, you understand how to read a drawing properly, and you don't look like an idiot because you just came out of school and you don't know anything. So I found a lot of success in that, because I can easily see if they just went the other way and they're like, all right, no theory at all, just start drawing, it would kind of blow up in students' faces. But I think deployment matters a lot. It's true.
Yeah, man. I think we exhausted that shit. I had a quick question.
Sure.
I was talking to you yesterday, nighttime, and I was we were going through like a certain series with Dr. Evil's not gonna like this, but certain series with certain situations with the opposite sex, right?
Sure.
And you said that if they take a girls trip, you're out, no matter what.
I said this?
Yeah,
I didn't say this.
you said this.
Rephrase exactly what I
sound
said.
like
You said that's a big red flag for me if they take a girls trip. That's a no. That's what you said. Like, I'm not word by word, but very, very similar.
No, that doesn't sound like something you'd say.
I remember this conversation right now, and the context was we were talking about like thoughty girls, like that
Not
was
necessarily
already in the nature.
thoughty. I'd be like, this is what I would accept.
What does that even mean, actually?
Thoughty?
Slutty,
This lady, yeah.
kind of.
Girl with a body that's a, you know what I mean?
But like you explain the thought part. He
Um,
doesn't know what a thought is.
a low class individual.
Like he doesn't know what ratchet is either.
Well, I can
ghetto,
guess,
low
yeah.
class, basically, like not classy at all. Somebody that has like, when you look at them, there's no, I guess, motherly instinct in them. They have no nurturing factors. They have nothing that you look for in a woman that you want to be with for a long term, and they're just like a physical attraction.
Oh, I remember more of this conversation now as well.
Yeah.
Wasn't just any girl's trip. We're talking like in the context of like
Kind
a
of
Vegas trip.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah. So
Well, Whistler, Vegas, what's the difference?
that's kind of true. So
You know?
in my advanced stage, not very advanced, but that's changed. When I was younger, I would have probably not even, I don't want to say not had a problem, but I would have been more okay with like even a Vegas trip. Nowadays, no, not feeling that quite so much.
It's Dr. What do you think about this? I got some. I got
don't know,
some
I'm pretty-
magnetic
I guess
views.
I'm pretty liberal when it comes to this stuff.
Yeah. Actually, I would agree. I think he is.
Dr.
Still.
Evil doesn't invest into it though. I don't think Dr. Evil has ever maybe not ever, but like of recent, I don't think he's ever set eyes on a girl and been like, this might go somewhere. I think he's been very work oriented. So none of this means anything. So if nothing means if the girl doing something means nothing at the worst situation, then he's not going to give a fuck.
Sure.
Pretty much. Accurate.
Right? Me personally, man, like I think there's
The other thing depends like what kind of woman you're getting into with.
I simply do not think we have enough exposure as modern men to women that we think we should.
Should what?
I think we should be into like you know, we talk about body count, right?
Sure.
Okay. Are you under 50?
I'll
Sure.
tell you right now, 99% of guys are under 50, man.
Yeah.
Okay.
Get out of here with
I
that.
think
99% of guys are like under 10.
no.
Right.
Let's do the numbers on this. How many guys let's say
pull it up.
35 and under. 35 and under.
Average body count.
Average body
and
count.
I can't, especially if it's worldwide. It's
No,
pretty
let's
bad.
go Vancouver or something or
Where's
Canada.
my
Remember,
fucking
like,
mouse?
in Japan,
Alright.
they had like insane virgin rates there too.
You see the flip? It goes from being here to that corner over there.
What the fuck, bro? Yeah, I'll do this. This is easier actually.
Oh man.
Some wacky
Watch
shit.
this. Let's see here, and then we can even. Okay, average.
That was the beauty of how it was set up.
Hold on. Before, what do you think it is? Because I think I looked this up once. I think in North America,
20%. 20%.
seven partners for women, I think, and then for men, I think it was slightly less on average.
Uh,
Lifelong sexual partners.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, under 10.
I
Under
used to
50,
have
I should
I used
say.
to have a diary and just write about like the girls that I fucked.
Let's see if I was
It
way off.
varies. Vic's got it bang on. The average number of sexual partners for men and women in the United States is 7.2, reports a recent Superdrug survey.
And that's United States. It's a
That's
pretty
the US.
promiscuous country.
That is a very state by
Damn,
state.
bro, this is making me feel really bad.
So
Louisiana.
if you go to like Japan or something, it's gonna
But
be
Worse.
Worse. State by state's crazy. Louisiana residents reported an average of 15.7 sexual partners,
Yeah.
while Utah, this actually makes sense, clocked in at 2.6.
Yeah, but Louisiana.
Mormon
I mean,
center. Louisiana, yes, you got NOLA over there.
All right. Anyway, I just
How,
said
how does this
family loving.
how does this compare with other countries? Unfortunately, data on areas outside the U.S. and Western Europe isn't readily available.
Actually, Europe is pretty.
yeah, it's
promiscuous.
more promiscuous.
Yeah, I probably If you go
Yeah,
to
no,
France and-
100%. Any
Re-
European girl I met,
Respondents
down.
Respondents
Always
in,
off the bat, down.
Respondents in the United Kingdom averaged 7 partners, while Italy averaged 5.4.
That's Italy though. We're not talking about just
That's
Italy.
surprising. Yeah, then maybe I'm wrong.
But I just think that we have, there's nobody to, like, we've all wasted time in order to get to where we are now, and even, you know, we're still not kind of happy, I guess, or content completely with where we are.
It's fucking never. It's just chasing a dog.
Sure,
forever.
sure. But imagine
Chasing
there
your
was
tail.
more
Chasing
of
your
a,
tail to get more tail.
there was like a helpline or a or somebody
Can you
that would
imagine Armand being a helpline?
Hey, listen, man. How much good advice have I
It's gonna
given?
real body count.
Listen, how much good advice have I given over
depends,
Omegle?
Depends on the day and on your mood. I'll tell you that right
Yeah,
fucking now.
Sometimes you can be insightful. Other times it's like, why do I hang out with this person?
Other times it's
I
like,
think we're underestimating how much attention women get on a general basis, right?
What do you mean?
So it didn't specify between men and women. It was just average.
It's just average
Average, yeah.
seven
There's a
point two.
difference there
You
too.
you
I
can
think.
go ahead and say, women higher, men lower.
I think women were higher in the U.S.
Well, absolutely. Do you guys consider a girl that has 15 body count like number 15?
Well, we can already go by the numbers. That's pretty fucking high, man.
No. Like before what we just read,
I would have said
Would
that.
you say the same thing?
Well, but I know the numbers. I would have said yeah.
Yeah, that's true. You can't remove that from him. He's in the
I think up to 15 is acceptable, but at like 11 or 12, you really gotta sit. If you're not a hoe, at
Yeah.
11 or 12, you gotta sit yourself down as like a woman, especially. And I don't mean this sexist, but like if I find out that like a girl I'm spending time with has like 20 something, I'm like, bro, every time you fuck me means nothing, right? At this point, it means absolutely nothing.
I don't know.
Yeah, it's funny. I had an argument with somebody about this recently, and they were angry at how, if a really attractive girl decides to sleep with many men, it's considered unappealing from the point of men.
It's an age-old conversation.
Yeah, but I remember thinking like, why?
Why?
No.
Can I go on
Sure,
this?
but
Let him finish,
Yeah,
motherfucker.
so I'm trying to explain to her why it seemed to me
Sure.
that. So if you flip the situation, imagine you have some like, some male rock star or something like that. These guys
Right.
where there's just infinite women chasing them.
Right.
There's some similarity there, and my thought was that it was this: that when you have easy access to something like that and you abuse it, it's unattractive. So if it's a very attractive girl,
Yeah.
she doesn't have to be a rock star. She could be, just anyone.
Right.
She'll have basically an endless line of suitors. And the same thing is if now you have this Gene Simmons type Kiss rock star. If he goes and sleeps with 1,000 groupies, from the point of view of a woman now potentially dating him, that's not very appealing either.
That's true, actually.
Right? So it's more like a power thing. If you see that this person is exploiting something that they have easy access to, which for women, it's just the way things are.
Mhm, mhm.
Usually they have a lot more suitors. Guys don't have very many suitors unless you're in
A position of power.
Yeah. I mean, you could be really good looking. You're still not going to come remotely close to someone who's a rock star.
Yeah.
And that made sense to me.
Did you come up? Is that how
Yeah,
you, is that how you
that's
put it
how I
together?
came up
Yeah,
with
yeah.
that.
Well, that actually works. I can see that working. Now go ahead and say. Go ahead and talk.
I think you're assuming what women want. I think all women, like 80%, 90% of women want top 20% of guys because they can take care of their child and it's just a natural instinct that they have. If a woman can sit down at home and have millions of dollars to spend or hundreds of thousands of dollars to spend and she doesn't have to do anything, she's got maids and shit, all she's got to do is pop out a couple babies every few years, who would say no?
What is
a
that?
lot
Right.
of people would say no to that, I think.
No, I disagree. Women get their happiness
hold on.
absolutely
You
from
can-
having kids.
You can disagree all you want, but that's also an assumption, just as much as his is.
No, sure,
You-
maybe,
yeah.
sure.
Like,
Let's just go with that.
Yeah.
But another thing is, you are thinking with a male mind how a woman would think, and I don't think that would.
Don't you?
Well, but I can't escape that. Yeah,
No,
no matter what I say, that's the case.
I still believe that I don't know anything about women. All I can believe is my experience and what I hear about other people's experience with them. That's
course.
my only knowledge of them.
That's all we have.
Right? So that's how I take in, an understanding of them. And to this day, if you ask me like, okay, what do all women want? I'm like, I don't fucking know. But
Fucking you.
generally in North America, you could go up 5 points as a guy if you're pretty well off, man. You could be an ugly fat guy that's fucking 2 feet dick, 2-inch dick, and like fucking have a bunch of girls after you. And the other thing that you said was women get more attention, and there somebody that you were talking to said that that's unfair. Well, sorry to break it to you, life's not fucking fair. 1, 2. Women are born with value. You could literally have a guy, and these arguments, right?
Mhm.
You could literally have a guy that's driving an Aston Martin, some corporate executive type, investment broker, whatever the fuck, on his way to work, sees a 19-year-old barista that like smiles at him funny. He gives her phone number. Next thing you know, she's blowing him the night of at his fucking penthouse. Very easily done. Right? But opposite, women don't do that. You're never going to get an executive woman that's going to come and be interested in like, some guy that's making $50K. It just doesn't happen.
I actually disagree with that.
Well,
For the reasons of what Dr. Evil actually mentioned, that whole like power play positioning thing happens both ways. You'd be surprised at how that happens even with women.
I've
that-
dated older women at a very young age, like 17,
Sure,
18.
but have you dated like high level execs? I doubt that.
Not high level execs,
And
but
actually, even
I
if you
think
did, I wouldn't be totally surprised.
I think I've had a similar situation with you, but it's not been in the medical field. It's been more in other things.
Oh, sure.
But generally, women that are making over like 120K, right? Yeah, they'll have their fun, 6 months, 8 months, or something like that.
Sure.
And then you'll try to make a move as far as like planting your feet in a certain situation, like a relationship, whatever it might be, a situationship, whatever it might be. And then you realize you really don't have any control, right? She just brought you along this whole time. And that's when you realize like they might fuck around with you, but you're not like a serious thing, right? And
Well, yeah, that's what that whole power play thing is. Though it's like you're
that barista's could even get married to that guy. This fucking 50, this hipster she's in love with, that fucking they smoke weed together or some shit while she goes to work and makes 150K and he sits at home, does paintings. She's never gonna consider him like the head of the household. He will never be. Like, it's very rare for that situation to be. It's just not, like, on average, I don't think that there's too many of that going on.
I'm so confused with where this is going right now.
When I mentioned that power thing, I'm not saying they have totally different avenues. Again, you got like many men that are interested, maybe mostly.
I got one more after this about this.
Yeah,
Sorry.
like I think it's still a kind of a power issue, but
Yep.
in different forms. So on the one hand, you have most of the appeal is physical.
Yep.
For men looking at women. And then in the reverse situation where you have, I'm using rock stars as an example because it's an extreme. I think those are probably, you'd be hard pressed to find some other, like, I don't know, caricature that is going to be more sought after in
YouTube
a
star, baby.
romantic way.
Sure.
Well, YouTube star is like
It's goofy.
it's a version of a rock
it's,
star.
It is.
It's goofy.
Rock, because rock is kind of dead now, right? There's no
Yeah.
more of that. Celebrities, basically. Yeah, it's just something about, you have easy access to whatever is being sought after, and then you exploit it, and everybody else is going to view that negatively.
Yeah, I don't see an issue. I can see that myself personally, but
I understand what you're saying, but I'm just trying to have a different kind of play devil's advocate or have a different kind of perspective. One thing you said that if a girl sees that you're abusing power, I simply don't think.
I'm not saying a girl. I'm saying anybody. So it's a guy or a girl.
Well,
I'm trying
guys
to
can
put it
hate
so
other
it's
guys based on
independent of-
jealousy, right? But what I'm saying is this: if a woman knows that you're having sex with a lot of other girls, she will want you even more. And the reason I say this is because they have what other people want, and that brings value.
I don't think it's as.
And another thing is that
I think there's
guys
a big
that have
distinction
sex,
there.
guys that have sex with a lot of girls, they have distinct value that other girls see.
It's not necessarily that you are literally having sex with other girls. It's the notion that they know that other people desire you. And again, I don't think it's from the point of men or women. It's just if you know that some object is desired by not just you, suddenly that kind of becomes more valuable because it introduces an element of competition. Maybe you don't have to actually be having sex with other people literally. I mean, I guess that probably is what ends up happening, but
I don't think it hurts if you have sex literally as a guy, but I think it would hurt if you're a girl that someone's looking at and that person knows that not only are you desired by other people, but you're also having sex with other people. It brings down your value. Me personally, that's how I believe it is. But as a guy, I don't think having sex, like being desired and having sex, is bad in the eye of a woman. Like if you were known,
what do you think is preferable, being desired and having sex with many people, or being desired and being reluctant to have sex with many people? And then that person chooses you as a partner.
Perfect world, obviously. I think
The
being
latter,
reluctant.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Perfect
But
world.
that probably goes both ways. I mean, if you have, imagine you have a sister or daughter, and she's settling down with
That's the
Sting
thing.
or something.
That makes. I just can't wrap my head around that because it's one thing to be desired by many people and other people noticing that, but there's nothing that's inherently attractive to a woman or to a man in seeing other people actually, you know what I mean? Like that's not a thing. Women aren't going to be drawn to you because they know that other women are fucking you. That's not a thing.
I don't think that. I think a byproduct is women want you.
I don't think so.
You have certain values
because
or certain
because you got to think
characteristics
about
that
why
women want.
If you're identifying, that's not you're identifying the wrong route of why. If many people are wanting to sleep with you, there's a reason for that. They're not.
I understand. We're on the same page here.
No, but hold on. They're not wanting to sleep with you because other people are sleeping with you.
No, I understand.
Yeah.
I say the byproduct is that. The byproduct
Sure.
is, but you have inherent value that attracts many women.
There's exactly
Sure.
there's something about you that is attracting desire in others.
And unless you're famous, how do other people really know
whether you're famous,
that
whether
other people want you?
maybe you carry yourself a certain way, you're super confident, you're who knows, you're great in many things, you're
I'm not saying you have to
whatever.
be abstinent, but if you take it to an extreme and you become Wilt Chamberlain.
Kind of what I wanted to say is that if there are enough things in you that people
The guy's a
desire,
goat.
that all of a sudden you're someone that many people want to be with, other people will take notice. Not so much in the fact that other people notice you, but those things that other people want, you want as well, because they're things that everybody wants. Whether you're good looking, you speak well, you have money, you're a great person, you give back, you know what I mean? Like when you walk in a room, people notice you because you carry weight. Whatever it is,
You fuck when you walk in a room.
it's attractive, man. Like
Yeah.
people are gonna notice it. So it's
Imagine being Wilt Chamberlain's wife. I mean, you have to think for a moment that like when the person sleeps, how many he slept with thousands? Was it literally thousands?
apparently that was overblown.
All right, we'll say it was 500. Even.
Does honestly
It's just-
imagine being any like hugely famous person's significant other,
yeah.
whether it's like LeBron James, whether it's Jordan, whether it's Lionel Messi, Ronaldo, like any like big either sports star or big movie star or whatever. The idea is there because people are gonna want you for whatever reason that you got famous for, and that I can't imagine what it'd be like that significant other. Like you said, Wilt Chamberlain, Jordan, like knowing that sure, yeah, maybe my husband is being. I mean, Wilt Chamberlain never lied about it. But,
Yeah, it's true. A lot of those guys are probably
Right?
plowing all day.
yeah, but I mean, Jesus.
Would you lie about it? I'd be proud of it.
I wouldn't say I lie about it.
I wouldn't throw numbers out there though. That's the thing. I wouldn't throw numbers out there and be like, oh yeah, 1,000. Like at that point, even as a guy, like you're, I would think.
What are you
Average-
lying about then? I don't understand.
You know, he's not lying about the fact that he did. He's just lying about the numbers.
He's lying about
He's
a
like,
high
yo,
number.
baby, it's not 1,000. It's really like 100. You know?
It's not. It's like
70.
88.
It's like 7.
Yeah.
70 minus 69 is 1. Come on. I don't think it's. I wouldn't throw numbers out there, like but like I'd be. I wouldn't really put up with shit if I had these numbers.
What do you mean?
Instantly, like, okay, if I'm Wilt Chamberlain, right, and I'm banging fucking 800 girls so far, and you're 801, the slightest moment I realize that, like, there's things about you that I don't like,
Yeah.
you're out the fucking door, son.
I'm surprised it even let them in the door if you're like with 800, man. What's the point of even keeping? There's enough warm bodies in your room. What the fuck?
Bro, you're trying to be GOAT level, man. 5 rings,
Yeah. Okay.
100 points a game, 1,000 bitches. Come
Nah,
on.
Nobody cared about that.
Ooh,
last
how about
part.
this? How's sex gonna work in the metaverse?
Dude, that's a good
Ooh,
one.
ooh.
That's a good one.
Ooh.
This
There's-
metaverse shit,
more,
are
no
you
more.
guys picking up on it? There's guys that are this is a fact.
You know what I saw recently?
There is there is realtors selling metaverse
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Real estate.
Yeah.
real estate
Yeah.
making like way more than realtors in real life.
Not making dollars.
Well, there's a lot of
but yeah.
realtors making nothing in real life. So, but yeah, I've heard of some of these like virtual real estate.
Yeah.
It's not just metaverse. There's been other platforms too.
Yeah, but metaverse is people are banking on that becoming the predominant virtual sphere
Yeah,
because there have been many others
I
in the
can't
past.
remember the name. There's one.
There's that one big one called Earth 2. Do you hear about? Yeah,
exactly,
that one was a fucking.
Someone tried to sell me on that.
That one
and
was a fraud. That one was a bunch of
What
bullshit.
ended up happening to that? I didn't buy into it, but he told me
all
he,
the
like,
money
tripled.
went to like nowhere. It was some bullshit.
Yo, why don't we do some like
Fraud?
charity fraud?
Shut the fuck up. That's like
No, not like
charity
real fraud, but like no. What I'm saying
Bro,
is like be
fuck-
like
well, like the Human Fund.
no, like
Remember that
this,
shit.
the
No.
We Foundation. Remember the
George,
We?
George, for Christmas, he didn't want to accept a gift.
Oh, I didn't see that one.
Yeah,
I
okay.
guess.
The
No,
We
no,
Foundation.
yeah,
No,
where
man, I
we
can't
like
do that.
where
That-
we like okay, so
that-
every dollar you give, 10 cents goes to charity,
Yeah.
and that's true, right? Like Red Cross and shit, these guys are like 5 cents, 7 cents.
It
Not-
depends on the charity, but
But you know what I'm saying? Like it's unbelievable how much doesn't go to charity. Like a majority doesn't.
Well, yeah. Again, I think he's right. It depends on charity, but
Really-
there are
really
some
does.
unsavory ones
There
out
are.
there.
and you can check. It's not too hard.
But yeah, that would be not bad.
I would never do that.
Are you guys gonna buy into the metaverse or no?
Yeah, I would never do that either. That's pretty fucked.
Yeah, dude, what the fuck?
No soul.
Seriously.
Hey man, I had
Of
overhead
all the
costs.
things you could rip off,
Yeah, seriously.
rip off a charity.
No, but it'd be a stupid one. It'd be like, yo, we're saving Harambe or something.
We're gonna bring him back from the dead.
And if you buy into that, that's on you, man. Like, how can you blame me if you're buying into this? That's on you, bro.
You
The
know-
guy's dead.
But
know-
he's got a good point. The whole the sex thing in the metaverse.
Oh no, I was gonna. Okay, you know what I saw recently? I don't know if it was a YouTube ad or if it was something I saw on some random, like it might have been on Reddit or something.
Mm.
There was not a tutorial, but there was kind of like a guide onto how to have virtual intimacy, because this was during the height of the pandemic
Yeah.
when people weren't actually able to. Yeah, think about it. You can't date in real life. Some people were like
Imagine
whatever.
being like 17. Shit.
And like being under imagine being in a country of actual lockdown, and the only way of seeing someone would be like literally like fucking considering prison, because if you go out, let's say at midnight,
That was
you're not,
2
you
years
know,
ago,
yeah,
too,
right.
so-
So some of the dating apps, I think the one I saw was Bumble, actually, was like how to have virtual intimacy, and there's like, you know, set up a safe whatever the fuck, like steps. And what do you mean time? These are like targeted ads, man. You get them too. But because that applies for the metaverse. How are you gonna have sex in the metaverse, man?
You're probably just gonna have less and less sex. in
I
general.
saw this Korean
Physical sex,
Korean
What about
drama,
virtual sex.
I
right?
guess, but yeah. It's,
and it was weird because it started while they were all dead, right? And they could literally jump into dimensions and have dimensions within dimensions.
What is this? A show?
This is like some Korean drama I was
Oh,
watching.
here
Anyway,
we go.
so these guys are dead. They're in like heaven or something, right?
Mm.
So they can split their characteristics or their needs into different things. So these two people are dating, right? And then they take their sexual urges and they
Yeah.
make a clone out of themselves. So you have the sexual urges, like let's say you
Like
and
they
a
me-
girl, right? You take your sexual urges and you make a copy of that looks like Dr. Evil and the girl, and they're fucking and they're doing all that shit. What else is there in a relationship? All you have is like talking and romance, basically,
Sure.
right? And then you spend your whole time doing talking and romance with no urges.
Interesting. So
That's what I would think would probably go into play as far as like intimacy.
so you can isolate the urges and remove them.
Yeah, I mean, you maybe it hasn't gone there, but like perfect world.
Would you take it out?
if you had the
Because
choice,
I've thought about this. Yeah. like maybe,
get
man.
like hypnotized.
That is the source of a lot of problems.
It is, but it's
That's
also
why they say
it,
get the poison out. The phrase.
listen, it's the same thing as where you get your focus, motivation, determination is the
But hold
same
on.
thing.
Would you? If you had a choice.
But hold
Like,
on.
if it was a
I have a
societal
question.
norm.
I have a question
Mm.
about this.
Okay,
if
fine,
I take
fine.
this out, am I gonna no longer be masculine and so on and so forth and all my masculine features?
Just the urges.
Just
Absolutely.
the urges go. Well,
Oh.
yeah. Well, then no. I'd rather live like a gorilla.
I'm just shitting.
Uh,
I guess I don't know. It depends how you define.
Okay, let's say
masculinity.
no. Let's say no.
Somebody asked me
Yeah.
that. They're like, "What's masculinity?" And I gave them some stupid answer. It was like
Probably I can see
Killing
I
your
can see you doing
enemies,
that. Yeah,
taking their
that's-
women.
Wow, great. All right. Fucking Kublai
burning everybody,
Kublai Khan over here. Great.
but
raising the infants to be hating their fucking culture.
you gotta cut
Great.
that one out. But it's a good question. Yeah, I don't know. I guess it's changed a lot. Whatever. What does it mean?
What is masculinity?
Have you guys watched Her, the movie?
Yeah, I've
Yeah,
been watching
yeah.
more
Okay.
Yellowstone. Actually, I've been watching clips.
Oh,
I just
Have you
want
watched
to.
I
Any
don't have
full
Amazon
episodes?
Prime, dude.
I can give you my Prime.
I can give you my
can't log
Prime,
in-
bro.
I can't log into my IP with anyone's. It's too.
Oh, the Prime. Yeah.
heady.
I'll buy you
I'll
Prime.
come over and watch it at your
Yeah.
house.
Fine, fucking hell.
But play
Anyways,
some RDR.
Have you guys watched Her?
Yeah, yeah.
Have you?
What is it?
Her. It's called Her.
No,
Joaquin Phoenix is a title character.
no, I know him. He's good.
Okay, so the premise. No, I'll explain. The premise is an alternate future society where AI has evolved to the point that you could have a virtual assistant in your conscious at all times.
I like that.
And so the movie kind of starts off very like, not, I want to say innocent, but like this technology just has come out into the world. So most of human interactions is the way that it is now,
Yeah.
just with the addition of this virtual assistant. This virtual assistant is so advanced in its AI that it basically acts like an actual personality.
Yeah.
So when you respond to it, it's not like Siri and Alexa. It'll actually like talk with you as if it's sentient.
Yeah.
kind of where the movie takes the next step is that you can actually develop a romantic relationship with
This
this.
is basically
assistant.
Cortana from Halo.
Yeah.
Basically, yeah. Except there's no visual representation. It's
Yeah.
all in here,
Right.
and it's with like earbuds. I think it was, right.
It's basically
you
like
have
an iPhone.
Yeah, you had to actually like insert
Yeah.
it so you could hear it.
Wouldn't it be weird though if you developed a relationship with something like that and then it pleased you?
So here's the the movie. You should check it out. It's kind of a cool movie.
Yeah.
Scarlett Johansson plays the
Yeah,
voice,
of
which
course
is
she does.
yeah. They have sex at some point in the movie, but think about how would you have sex with a
Is there,
virtual?
like a fleshlight or something.
No, there wasn't
She's
that.
talking.
It was purely auditory and vocal, right? But he still had
He's got still organs.
he
yeah.
still got off, right?
Yeah.
And then he felt that she also did, but obviously she did. You know what I mean? That's
That's why she
essentially.
left.
But that's kind of, if you think about this whole metaverse thing, it's like that's kind of how this probably would go. Except at least you get like an avatar that you can
I got a good
Be with-
analogy for this. Have you guys been in long distance relationships?
not a real one.
Yeah.
What
no,
about you?
Not seriously.
I guess I have the most experience here with that. That shit's exactly like this. Like titty picture, random 12:30 at night. Fucking pussy. She's like fucking playing with her pussy or something.
Have you ever fucking FaceTime?
Me personally, I got
FaceTime?
too much pride to put my dick on there, bro. Like
Have you never FaceTimed
I have, but it's been like black on my end. Like I'm not gonna fucking. I don't give
Oh,
a
yeah.
fuck. I don't care if you get off over there. I gotta get off.
You
That's the fucking point,
you
dog.
haven't set up your phone there and whatever, so you can
Dude, I'm not letting her see me, bro. I'm
What?
just doing my.
Why not?
Cause I'm not trying to please her. That's what her job is, bro. She's trying to please me, man. What is this?
What kind of a fucking relation? So when you fuck a girl, you come, she doesn't.
She doesn't need to come.
I love this guy.
If she comes, listen, it's a bonus, right? Now, if I like
this guy
you,
doesn't care about his Yelp reviews.
No, honestly, man, fucking 1-star reviews. He just purges all the reviews.
listen. If I like
Jesus.
you, and of recent, it's been more of that
Jesus.
that I
can't.
tried. If I like you, I will put in
I
effort.
myself couldn't. I couldn't.
I put an effort, but clearly there is something that I do, whether I try or not, that they keep wanting to do it. Therefore,
I don't know
about clearly.
don't break
I was
the
gonna say,
system.
I said I don't know about clear, man. It seems like an oxymoron. Somehow them coming as a bonus, yet they want to keep fucking you. It seems strange.
I prefer the opposite, actually. I feel like
I get off and people getting off.
yeah, exactly. The primary is for them, actually.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I don't know why you guys are. Because
Well, we're fucking twinks now or something.
Yeah, so yeah, I'm gay for fucking women.
pussies.
Yeah.
What's wrong with you guys? Pleasing women? What is this garbage?
Jesus.
No, man. It's just preference, man. Honestly, me first time, I gotta enjoy it more. I'm primary, right?
Somehow in his twisted world, that means dominance to him.
No, it's not dominance.
It is
man.
for you,
it's
man.
Not, it's
It
not
is.
dominance.
'Cause
I
you-
simply do not care.
You came out ahead. Because you just said your words were, "I need
Actually,
to feel better."
dominance is the opposite. I read into this a little bit.
Ooh. Educate me, Daddy.
This
If
guy.
you can control the other person's orgasm, you're actually
True.
the dominant person there.
True.
So in some ways, what we're saying,
We're more dominant.
you're pretty gay.
Clip of the night.
Yeah. It's actually. Oh shit, guys!
You're the
I
gay
gotta
one.
say something.
You're the gay one.
Open that closet real quick.
Get in there and get out.
Look, he's gone. He's in the closet.
Comes out. Hey. No.
It's okay, man.
This is my.
definitely
No,
gonna
I
try
have
to
no
do
problem. I have no problem with that. This is the thing. I would have a problem if I tried to get them off and I had a hard time.
You know what
Oh,
I got
yeah.
a problem with?
Hold on.
Our,
Shut your
our
mouth.
buddy with the chocolates, man.
This guy's diabetic, bro. There was 5
Oh
chocolates
my
in there.
God.
He's
You're
cracked
fucking
them like they're
God.
fucking hard-boiled eggs and eating them. I keep telling this fucking gypsy that you have to put them in hot water because they're like fucking
Jesus,
coffee bombs. But this guy just eats them and wastes the marshmallows.
Well, then ice better start dancing.
Jesus, man.
I don't know if you'd be making a lot of money that way. Can you imagine? Who would pay for Dr. Evil to strip, bro?
I'd pay out of pity.
I wouldn't pay for that.
I'd throw in a $5. I'd be like, man, I feel bad.
You think Emma would pay? I think he'd
No,
just
you know
sit
what?
down, cross his arms, and just be like, I don't
fuck
approve
it.
this.
You know what I
and just
would
get up.
do? I would find a girl. I would pay her to pay him.
Damn, you're a real friend.
I would do that. I would. Do
You know
that.
what I would do? Just to, because if Dr. Evil is dancing, he's out of his mind, right?
I mean, something's definitely wrong.
So I gotta put him in his place. I take full responsibility. So I'd be the guy in the back, like, dude,
What are you
get the fuck off the stage.
Jesus.
What are you doing?
It's true, I can't dance.
Aren't sitting right on your face or no?
You looking forward to it being digital?
Actually, that's a good ending question right there. Are you looking forward to the new digital age?
Optimistic.
Fuck.
You wanna go first?
No, just this. I moved and it's like, doesn't catch on camera.
I'll go first since I never go first.
Oh damn.
I will fully embrace it.
Actually,
Yeah, man, beam me up. I'm tired of like typing with my fingers.
damn.
I'm
That's a
done with
surprise
the
to me.
physical world.
That's done surprise.
I
That's,
mean, in like the sense that I'll continue in the digital.
damn, dude, just fucking.
Otherwise, I'll only
Let's
kill
get
myself.
uploaded.
Seriously, I was gonna say Matrix him right now. Just fucking.
Yeah, I would do it in a heartbeat.
Why?
Really?
Why is that?
I feel like it would be way more interesting,
In what way?
more mobile.
I mean, in some ways, that's not wrong.
Sure, but I would think within our lifetime there'd be like limitations to how realistic or how enjoyable that is. Within our lifetime, I would say.
I
I'd
think-
say on average that's what would happen.
I
Dude,
just,
if you don't feel like that's not the case right now,
I was
in
just gonna
physical
say,
life,
I just came to
kudos.
I just came to a very interesting realization now that in this world that we have, and we've talked about this multiple times on this
Yeah.
podcast, in this world of like instant gratification and overstimulation and over like sensory overdrive, there is going to be a point where we reach our physical limits with that, where we are so overly stimulated and so overtly like exposed to everything, you can't do more. The only way to like advance that is doing it through your mind. And the only way to do to that point, go digital.
Turn me into an avatar.
I was just
I'm
going to
ready.
say, because think about it, eventually it's, you know what I'm talking about, right? Eventually it's going to be too much physically to keep stimulating people. So you have to go to the next
You
level.
gotta
So
understand
Your
that, like the
piece of
past
shit body
generations,
breaking down
right?
all the time.
How much less stimulations have they had, and they've lived such.
No, I
long
know,
lives
but what I'm
with
saying is
no-
like, think about our trajectory in the last 10 years. It either keeps going up or it stops and it crashes.
Dude,
No,
your,
it's
your
gonna-
body's already breaking down. Like it's not really gonna be getting better.
No, as far as like, okay, if
I
we're
agree with
talking,
you. my preference would actually be less, and both of us are on agreement on this. We would both prefer less. So this whole idea of like social media stimulation, fucking every kind of like blasting from everywhere, 24/7 news.
it's exhausting.
It is, but for society as a whole, they want it. Otherwise, we wouldn't be doing it.
If we can
Unfortunately.
upgrade and live in this earth as a different body and a different lifestyle, like let's say maybe it's not on this earth, but I upload
Yeah.
physically. I feel I have no fucking big ass iPhone on my face to make a VR. Like there's limitations right now that are, I don't know how fast that's gonna happen. Now, if that happens to a point where I'm like 92 years old on my deathbed,
Sure.
about to go be a fucking avatar and jump like and do all these cool other things, yeah, sure. But as it stands now, I don't know what the trajectory is gonna be and how fast they're gonna go. So from what I see now, this shit's retarded.
But that wasn't the question though, right?
Would I
question-
buy into it?
Yeah.
If it's Avatar, like absolutely like that or better?
It's Matrix. It's
Well,
Matrix.
you could basically make your own reality.
Matrix, sure, but listen,
Actually, that's two different things. True. Matrix is more limited.
but
Fine,
lem-
Avatar,
But you
sure.
could just create any reality and be fully immersed in it forever as long as you want.
But you are constrained by the limitations of whatever world you're living in.
devil's advocate here.
Yes. I
Right.
don't know. This starts to turn into the whole like simulation argument.
Not simulation, but I mean,
No.
like, for example, like the metaverse, you are buying into and using someone's proprietary software. So there are inherent constraints to that software.
I'm just using metaverse as like a catch-all for
Sure. I'm using it.
Future.
Yeah.
AI immersion, I guess.
Right.
So I just got a couple of good last points. Pretty quick here. One being, what is the reason that you want to escape your limitations of life right now? Is that what you guys are telling me? Is that why you would want to change?
I didn't actually even answer the
Hold
question.
on, let me think. Yeah, maybe you.
Yeah, maybe you
Go
go
ahead
answer that
first.
question.
My preference is actually like less. So it's like no.
Okay.
I would rather much ground myself physically. That's just me.
So Dr. Evil is more, I guess, pointed
He's
to you
more,
then.
yeah.
Do
Yeah,
you?
I would like throw myself in the river.
So do you want to like escape the limitations you have?
Very interesting question, actually.
In the physical sense, I think you mean, right?
Well, in any sense, you want to any kind of limitations you have, you want to escape those.
Do you guys think in words or in
Depends.
or I don't even know what the opposite of that would be, but
I know what you're
apparently
saying.
there's like two
There are.
two ways in which people think.
Another way
one is
peop-
like a narrative, and the other one is
Another one of people, and I had this discussion at work. Actually, someone brought this up at lunch. Someone said, "Do you hear like a voice in your head that tells you
Yeah.
what to do?"
you.
Because I do. There's a very distinct people that
I
don't.
don't hear a voice.
Yeah, see, you're not alone in
I
this.
hear a voice when I'm very tired and I can't maintain my thought process,
Mhm.
and then I have to like, you know,
Like an example someone gave was like, okay, you're at Superstore, and you're shopping. What's going through your mind?
it's just like clouds, and some are denser than others. That's it.
For me, it's me telling me, hey, go get eggs. Hey, go get orange. Oh, you forgot. Like there's a thing that's telling me to do certain things,
Yeah.
like a voice.
But you're literally going through a list here.
And-
That's
Well, not yeah, but I'm talking about. That's why I break it down something simple, like grocery shopping.
yeah.
Because someone else, and this was in the work conversation, like we're all kind of going around. The other person's like, actually, no. It's like I go get eggs. I don't. No one's telling me to go get eggs. I just go do it. But for me, like there's a voice telling me to.
But what
do
about
these
when you're
things.
thinking about like more abstract things, like I don't know, you're designing your week, or designing. You're thinking about what you should focus on for the week.
There's it's a voice. I'm telling
Still a
myself.
voice.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't get that.
You're right. It's similar to the other one that Aftab had. The other thing, he couldn't visualize. That's another one. That there's two people.
Yeah.
There's people that can visualize things very easily
There's
in
a
their
word
minds
for it. I can't remember
graphically, and then there's people who cannot. So that's the similar thing with the words.
Yeah, I remember this one girl telling me how she's not able to visualize objects in her head or like visualize memories, and so navigation is just dog shit.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would like to go towards the direction of streaming that. You know.
So I just want to bring it back to that. So let's say you are, I guess you are partially wanted to escape your limitations. Let's say you lived like this, unlimited life for, X amount of years, right?
You get tired of it.
You would get tired of it. And what you would want is like variability that's outside of your control.
I don't know if I get tired of it.
You say that, but it's like, have you ever played a game where
That's
you're
the thing.
using cheat codes?
It's a different world. Like you're okay.
You
The
gotta
And
explore
it gets boring. You explore it, but it gets boring. Versus a game where you might not enjoy it at all times, but you always come back to it because you
I
cannot
don't feel like
beat
that
it.
about even regular life now. At the time, I'm like, there's the limitations in the physical world, if that's what you want to call it, are pretty severe.
No, I
gonna
completely
get
understand.
much
We're in an expensive city.
I think you're misunderstanding what the purpose of this is. Well, actually, there's so many ways to kind of like
Well, I think
frame
it's subjective, really.
No. Well, it's not because it's going to be designed by someone. It's going to be it's objective because it's going to be designed by someone.
No,
at some point.
I'm considering it as far as it's it's not designed by a person or a company. I'm saying that there's only one, right? Because it's just
that's too abstract.
As
to me.
far as
I gotta
capitalism, like
narrow it down.
yeah, you could be like, you could hide behind, okay, it's designed by this person, is going to be this and that and this. There's all these limitations and flaws and whatever. Sure, but I'm saying like we were talking about earlier, like okay, the Matrix or Avatar. It's like a universal thing where everybody has a choice to go in or not.
Yes,
and
but
there's
what
no
I mean is
other
like,
options.
But once you're in, you're playing within the rules of that world. You're playing within constraints. There has to be.
Sure, but apparently there's less. If it was more limiting, then people wouldn't want to go and engage.
Not necessarily, because like I said, remember when I brought up that example of that overstimulation saturation point? Essentially, you can exceed that in a digital made up world.
How so?
Because you're not limited to physical constraints like you are here. So, for example, you could have fucking flying cars in this world that you can actually get on. That's a physical constraint of this world. Like there's gravity in this world. you can make a world where there's no gravity, but there are other rules. So, for example,
I see what you're
there's
saying.
gravity, but you can't make yourself 20 feet tall and be a giant and kill other avatars.
Yeah.
Violence is limited because you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
whatever someone designs as a world
So are we
will have
now?
constraints.
Are we now in that world? Are we?
I would say so.
Are
I
we
would say
immortal?
Sorry,
Are
go
we-
ahead. So wait, one at
Go
a
ahead.
time. Go
I
ahead.
was gonna say, because if you can, if you can construct these worlds and live in them, and everyone around you, is artificial, why would you choose to do so? And I would feel
Hold on. When you said you construct, who is you in this sense?
imagine metaverse allows you to create your own world.
That's the thing. I don't think that's going to be a thing. Because you're
Well, I think eventually you'll get there. Maybe it's not in the metaverse.
I don't
Maybe it's
know,
something
Matt,
else,
because
but-
like there's gonna have to be someone is owning this, unless no one owns this. In which case, that's actually a concept too abstract for me to even consider. But I have to kind of break it down
this
for
would
me.
be like way far. This would be,
Yeah.
you want to think of your favorite video game. And
Yeah,
now
you know what I mean. Like
you actualize
actually,
that.
have you watched the movie Ready Player One?
No.
Where
but
it's
I've heard
kind of
about
like
it.
that's like something similar. But the idea of creating your own world for me is it's too abstract because then it's like how do you consider 8 billion people wanting to like that's just a bit too much for me to even like
well,
wrap
no,
my head
you
around.
would. That's what I mean. You wouldn't. I think everything around you would be artificial. But then it's like, why would you want to live in a world?
I know,
where
but what-
it's all like NPCs.
But what I mean, not only that, but what everyone's their own god in this world. Like there has to be something. At least for me to even think about it as a stepping stone is okay. We have meta as an example because that's something that they're postulating to bring onto in the near future, and there's kind of an idea of what that looks like right now. They're probably going to expand it, like and the scope of it as time goes on. But right now, it seems pretty clear that it's going to be just an extension of current virtual reality. That's kind of like the basic. It's like everything is still the same. Like when you make yourself, you look like yourself. The world's everything's still pretty close, right?
Look like yourself.
Yeah, I know. The physical size is still about the
Guy's trying to
same.
be 6'8".
Gravity, gravity is still like most current constraints of our reality are still constraints in meta. That's the point because it's supposed to be just like a digital mirror of our world.
Well, you make your own avatar, and isn't that the
Dr.
idea?
Evil,
Yeah,
you
sure,
can't
but-
be Wesley Pipes. This is what he's
Hold
trying
on.
to say.
There's probably room for like modification, but you can't make yourself a 20-foot giant. You can't, have super strength. Like there's limits to what you can do, right? Because the idea is they want to slowly bring it so that everybody embraces it. So because if it's more familiar to people, more people are likely to try it out.
What if you go further down the road and envision a world where you can create your own reality?
Now that's like
would
I
you
said,
live in it,
for me-
knowing that everyone is artificial and everything around you is artificial?
It would bore me.
for me that's a very abstract concept to
I
consider.
might do it if I knew that there was if randomness existed in that world. If it was all totally determined,
It would be though. It would be if you're a creator. There'd be.
there would have to
All-
be randomness. Otherwise, I don't know. you
It'd
kind
be
of know how
even
the
at
puzzle
best.
unfolds.
Even at best, it'd be synchronized randomness, because you created the pattern. It's like coding. You know what's going on, but it happens. It happens without
'Cause
you knowing.
you read that cheat codes thing up, and that's actually pretty.
It gets boring, man.
Yeah.
When you have ultimate unlimited
That's why you
anything
need
you can happen,
randomness.
it's then it's closer to this, right?
Yeah.
It's just a little bit better, right? That's all you want. You want just a little bit better. If you fully wanted a world where it was, you knew everything was what was going to happen and everything was fake and everybody was fake, you would have to be like,
But there was
Into your-
randomness. Would you still do it?
if there's no randomness, then you're just
No,
you're
but there
just
is.
fully
So-
about yourself.
So what you said, and you're aware that everything is fake in the sense that there's another world on which this is, this exists on a server somewhere in the primary world. Would you still live in this false one? You can set it up in your own way, so in your own vision. Maybe it's I don't know. Pick some storyline from some fictional world, and you can live in that sort of setting.
But here's the problem: the moment that you pick
Mhm.
means you've already all outcomes are already decided.
Well, maybe you can pick like the different physical constraints,
Maybe he just
Sure,
wants the
yeah.
adventure, Hector.
and you know
that
it's fake.
honestly is not. I would try that.
Yeah,
Everyone
you
is
change.
artificial there.
consistently.
I would try that, but it would not be something I'd want to live. I'd definitely try it. But like, you know what?
try it.
Like no, like
Well, you tried for-
I'll fuck
for
off
what,
for like
50 years?
No, like I'll fuck off for a month and I want to try this out.
Yeah.
Sure.
Whatever.
But
I don't
that,
know,
I,
man.
nobody. I'm not saying no to that. What I'm saying no to is that you are, if you know random, there can't be randomness, like complete randomness. There cannot, because you created.
There
the
could
world.
be if you didn't create it.
then there's no longer unlimitedness, right?
Oh, yeah,
You're not God no longer, right?
Yeah.
You're not the cheat code game,
Well,
right?
Yeah, I don't think you're ever really. You can be only God in the world you created, but not in.
Being God gets hella lonely.
I was gonna say none of that. You get tired of that at some point.
I don't think being almighty and having all the answers, because I would think that would drive you crazy. Like that's one of the reasons. Like I never wanted to be like famous. Like that never was attractive. You can't do regular shit. Like you can't go to the supermarket. Like that's, as rich as I want to be.
You're talking like, bro. You're talking that what you just mentioned is like next. We don't even have that kind of famous right now.
No, but what I'm saying is like even like a Kardashian famous. Like that's even a Kanye famous. A fucking Eminem famous.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
These guys can't go do regular shit. Like like everybody says like Mayweather is this and Mayweather is that. Mayweather can't walk his kids to school.
They can and they can't.
No, they can with like bodyguards and shit, or a private
depends where they are. Stick these people in places that no one knows them. It's like whatever.
No, but what I'm saying is like universal names. Maybe Mayweather's not the guy.
The thing is, we don't have that anymore. The last true person to have that, like our
Michael
Kobe's,
Jackson,
Jordans. Jordan was the last. Like I won't say the true.
He was probably one of the
can't
biggest. No,
walk
he was the
on-
biggest ever.
Can't
actually.
walk anywhere.
They did
kinda
some
guys.
kind of poll. They're like the two most recognizable faces in the entire world were Jordan and Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I was gonna say Jesus Christ.
And I think Jordan was first. Actually.
Was that from Last Dance? I think it might have been.
No, it was from some like Michael Moore documentary
You
a long
just
time.
mentioned it then.
Yo, I'd probably get lost in one of those worlds though, like maybe forever, because I kind of feel like this is our world anyway right now. I don't really believe in like consciousness or.
What do you mean this is our world right now? Anyway?
Like, I believe-
simulation theory kind of.
No, I just believe that like people kind of are robots anyway, including myself. I think we're organic robots. We're just like memories and habits, and there's nothing else to.
Sure, but there's a randomness that is
Yeah,
there.
Right, there's a randomness, but so if you can create another world through this world, and have an element of randomness in that, it's just different physical realities in that world.
Sure, new things are
What's the difference?
are better, but the difference would be the limitations, right? The limitations
But
that you have.
there's limitations in this world.
Yeah, randomness means limitations
No.
to some extent. I
The-
think
the-
it would.
It'd be my point is there'd be less limitations, no? Or is it the same level of limitations? And then at that point, it just everything's new. Yeah, no shit, right? That's all we're arguing about then. That something is new in a different world, but there's still limitations.
No.
Then you know what I mean? Like if there's the same amount of
that's not what we're
limitations,
saying.
but just it's differently figured. Like there's flying cars, blah blah blah. There's like new shit that you're not used to. Then yeah, I'm in. But am I gonna get lost in that for 50 years, 100 years? I don't know. My point would be is like best case scenario for me. I'm 97 years old or some shit, about to die.
That's honestly no brainer.
Right?
That's like-
I would say
Yeah,
100%.
that's almost too easy of an answer. It's like yeah, fine.
I don't know. Part of me is like,
This is kind of
I
like
don't
going to
know.
Mars.
does it necessary for there to be the chance of death in the world
Yeah.
in order to make it worth living?
There's a lot of thought experiments that explore that very question. Actually,
Because if you create this other world, you wouldn't necessarily want to.
there's a lot of works of fiction that explore that. If like meaning of life, if there was immortality behind it, would it be the same for people? And some people, depends on who you ask. A lot of people don't think that there would. Part of the meaning of life is that, or part of the purpose to it is that there is an end.
But this is a
Because you have time.
this is stranger because not only do you create this world, but you know it's false. You know that everyone around you is artificial. But would you see them in the same light if you knew that in this game you created, there is the very real possibility that they can be destroyed?
This is why.
And it's not defined. They might
No, I know.
survive and they might
Yeah.
be destroyed. And now the storyline is real.
This is why people loved The Matrix the first time it came out, because it kind of explored that very question. The idea of inserting yourself in a world that where you could actually die, right? Like the unplugging, that whole thing. You could die on both sides. You know, if you die in the game or you've died in the Matrix, then
But
then
imagine
you're dead for real.
meeting a NPC type character in this world you've created. But you know that he can't actually die and you can actually die.
Mm-hmm.
And they behave in the same manner as someone in like the
That's-
base world. You
that's-
start to see them as a real person.
That's the Matrix. That's exactly what that is.
Well, it's a kind of a reverse situation because you go from the false world to the real world in the Matrix.
No, but then
this
in the-
is from the
part
real
of the
world to
part,
the
part
false
of the
world.
part of the thought experiment in the Matrix was like, which one is the real world? Sure, physically, the one's the real world, but
Yeah,
the
I
other
guess
one
that's
the
what
other
I'm
one
getting to.
the other
kinda
one was
here,
just as
yeah.
much real because all the experiences felt just the same
Yeah.
until the hood was removed from your eyes, like the wool was removed from your eyes. You didn't know, like that for the people that were in it, for Neo, that was the real world. It was only the moment that he took the fucking, what is it, red pill, right?
Red pill.
Yeah, I took the red pill. That's when he's like, oh shit, this was not the real world. But until then, and then once you have that exposure, you're like, holy shit, everybody there still believes that is their one and only world.
Yeah.
I know that there's two. However, this second one feels just as real as the other one. He can still fall in love in that second world. He can still experience pain in that second world. Everything, all his human experiences were mimicked. And so in a lot of ways, you sometimes prefer that second world because that first world is bleak as fuck. Being in some shitty spaceship with fucking aliens chasing you,
Yeah.
fuck that. Put me in the second world. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
All of a sudden,
A lot of people would prefer the second
all of a sudden,
one.
I don't have fucking like scars in my arms and
Yep.
like a thing in the back of my head, and I have real hair.
Yeah. That whole thing originally being woke was understanding that like there's the terrible side of the dark side of the world, I guess, right?
Mm-hmm.
Not a lot of people at that time before like that came around, people didn't really were aware of it. But that's basically what the Matrix is. It's like, okay, you want a false happy reality, or you want, and I think Dr. Evil.
I'm
But
not saying it's
the
even
weird
a happy
part.
reality.
I was just gonna say it's not a false happy reality because a lot of people in the in the Matrix world were not happy at all because it was basically a duplicate world of what the world used to be virtually, and in that.
Oh, so
in
they're
that
just
virtual
lost in
world-
the sauce.
No, in that virtual world,
Yeah.
everything's happening. So
No,
people,
I get it.
people still going to work and
That's-
struggling. People, all
Yeah,
that stuff's
yeah,
still happening. So
Sure,
yeah.
but
you have all the highs and lows of real life. in
not
there.
knowing is almost a blessing in that disguise because the real world.
That's an interesting thought. Would you want to know that you're in that world and it's false world?
It basically becomes almost like a Schrodinger's cat experiment, because until like you exist in both worlds, because until you know, that's like when you Schrodinger's experiment, like until you pull it, you don't actually know it's living in both.
You look at it. It's
Yeah,
dead.
exactly. The cat's both out. It's dead and alive until the moment you actually open the. Same thing with the Matrix. You're both in the physical and virtual world until someone tells you that one is the other. Like it's the same to you. It doesn't matter.
I'd still jump like head first in.
It's like Biggie said, man. Don't know till you know.
No, if you don't know, now you know.
Is it that?
Yeah.
There you go. Same.
On that, we're gonna wrap.
On that, we're gonna wrap. Yeah, man.
A monk could live out a new life, growing up in Compton.
This guy wants to be 6'8" and have like a 12-inch cock. That's what's
I
really
never said
going
any
on.
of this.
Huge dick.
Yeah,
Like,
he's like
huge.
once
Be
you
6'8",
said you have to look the same. He kind of
I'm
like
out.
he's
I'm out.
60% withdrawn.
I'm out.
I'm out. I don't want this. I want to be
No,
black,
no deal.
I
cornrows,
wouldn't even be human. I'd be like I don't know.
A fish.
avatar with an
Yeah.
18-inch cock, bro. Just fucking 14 around, just railing trees.
All right. We know what you're gonna be in that fucking made up world.
I know Dr. Evil's gonna be in a G-string in about 20 minutes.
Yeah, I'm
Sing
gonna
on this
fade us
shit.
out on that one.
Make sure you follow us
Shit.
on Instagram, Funny But Foul Podcast, and Funny But Foul everywhere else. Hector, this fucking thing sucks ass, bro. Look at this. What the fuck, dog?
Peace.
Man, I can't believe I ate all those.